What's up, Doodlebug? It is Monday, April 22nd, vlogging every day in April. Ding! So not too long ago, I got a comment from Mar the World, it was a multiple-parter question. Is that a word? Anyway, she suggested talking about other art mediums that I've used in the past that aren't my norm, and what I liked and what I didn't like. I was lucky enough to go to a public school that had an amazing arts program. Every single grade had an art class available, and then once you hit high school, there's just an explosion of different kinds of art classes you can take. So there are a lot of options, and I sampled them all. Now, the mediums that I normally work in are watercolor and ink and pencil. So I would have to say, of the things beyond my usual medium, my favorite thing was photography, which is really weird because when I do photography, I felt like I was cheating because it was so quick. You're like, awesome, done. But there's such a good feeling in taking a good photo. Now, after I studied it, I walk around now and see potential photos, like the lighting on that lamp looks really cool right now. Plus, our school had a dark room that you could play around in and develop film. Photography was definitely something that I really liked. My least favorite medium ever is, I have to say, is oil paints. And you know what? This is probably because of the teacher. I might just put all the blame on her. So I took an oil painting class in college. The teacher was a well-known artist, not like super famous, but she had won awards. But the thing is, she was one of those teachers that when you take a class, you're learning her way of painting. And that's understandable. Think of it as an ancient samurai warrior, and he takes on an apprentice. He's gonna teach that apprentice his style of doing it, and that's just that. And that's where a lot of people get lost in art classes, I think, because as an artist, if I'm teaching somebody how to paint, I'm gonna teach them my way of doing it. And if you don't do it my way, it might be a little hard for you. And that's a really difficult thing to get around, I think. That's rough. I mean, my favorite art teacher in high school, I had friends who were like, oh, no, I can't stand her. She just wants you to paint the way she does. And I'm like, no, man, it's awesome. She's so nice and great. And now I think back on it, I was like, well, yeah, we were both into watercolor. That probably helped me a lot. So I guess my advice to you, if you're in an art class and not really digging it or getting along with the teacher, it's probably a conflict of style. And, you know, the best way to get around that is to take that ego and put it aside for a little bit and try and learn someone's style, because that's actually a really good skill to have. And I tried to do this in my oil class. I really did try, but this was the first time I was using oil paints. And all I wanted to do was play around with it and get to know it and experiment. And I remember very clearly I did a painting where I was playing with the texture. So I was doing smooth textures in part of it and weird textures in another part. The teacher, she came around and that was her big critique. She told me, you're doing these weird texture things. And then she took my brush and she said, well, it looks good, but this is what I would do. And then she proceeded to grab a tube of really expensive paint, squeeze out almost half the tube onto my palette. I was not gonna use all that paint, so by the end of the class day, I'd have to throw it out. And then she just starts painting on my canvas and smoothing out the textures that I did. You know, you let her do that, and at the end of the day, walk home, and this is just college art class. This painting will mean nothing. It happens, and you gotta get over it, and I think I don't like oil paint just because of that. That's a dumb reason to not like it. But everybody struggles with this at some point in their lives, whether or not they're doing art or more scientifically organizational minded tasks. You're gonna get a job and you're gonna work for somebody who's managing things in a really weird way that you can't cope with, but it just rubs you the wrong way, and you're gonna have to learn to deal with it. I don't like oil paints. They're also really messy and they take a long time to dry and you have to use chemicals to clean up. So that's my experience with other mediums beyond my own thing. I don't know, let me know what your go-to mediums are, what your thoughts are on that. And Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bicycles! Bikes. 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 Bikes.